This episode is brought to you by our friends at the Lexington Tourism Authority.
Thank you for downloading, subscribing, and telling your friends about the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. This episode is sponsored in part by Blue Shark Vodka, all the taste without the bite. Blue Shark Vodka, coming out of Wilmington, North Carolina. And by Spot On, tech that helps your business grow, coming to you from the Kitchen Studios in downtown Raleigh. And now, they're just doing this for the tips. It's Max Trujillo and Matthew Weiss.
Well, hello, and thank you for listening to the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. I am your co-host, Max Trujillo.
And I am your co-host, Matthew Weiss. And today, we are at Lexington, North Carolina's Uptown's oldest barbecue restaurant. It is the BBQ Center, and we are here with the owner of said restaurant, Mr. Cecil Conrad.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you guys for coming.
Well, thank you for having us here.
Yeah.
You guys seem to have eaten pretty well.
We're still
earlier.
just in a daze right now
Right.
from consuming all of this amazing
You still haven't had
barbecue.
dessert yet.
By the way, who's this other guy that just slid in here?
Brother Michael.
Hello,
Michael.
Hey, how are y'all?
You're like a ninja. You got in here, but yeah, welcome, Michael, Cecil. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, we're in the wake of a little bit of chicken, a little bit of pulled pork, a little red and white slaw. Matt
Yeah.
went both styles.
I had to try both.
You got a raised eyebrow.
I did.
Well, I get to correct you now because we know you're not from Lexington because we don't do pulled pork here.
Yeah, right. It's barbecue.
It's chopped.
It's just chopped.
Chopped,
It's
yeah.
not pulled. So you're right. It's
That's
chopped.
how we know you're not from local.
That's not the only way.
Well,
We
That's
get
just the
asked for that
first
every day,
Yeah.
and we have to correct them.
Yeah, so it's not pulled pork. Obviously, it's not because you're cooking pork shoulders primarily, right? Or specifically.
Right. Specifically, yes.
And then, of course, when that gets up to temp and it's ready to go, which is roughly, we're saying, probably about 8 or 9 hours.
8 or 9 hours, yeah, about 165 degrees.
Yeah. Then it comes off, and then we get to chop it.
We chop it, hand chop it,
And
slice
so
it.
what we've noticed is that is part of the dynamic. When we went to Lexington Barbecue yesterday, we saw the coarse chopped and sliced, and we thought maybe that was just how they did it here. But no, that's the way you all do it.
That is the Lexington tradition.
Yeah.
And if for those city slickers like us out there that want to come, the closest thing would be just the chopped, because that's
Sure.
like
Somewhere between the chopped and the coarse chopped.
somewhere
You
between
can
it.
theoretically pull and make it look like coarse chopped.
Right. Okay. And so, well, I want to ask you guys this same question. How did it get to be the Lexington barbecue tradition that it's exclusively pork shoulder and that's the cut?
I think the tradition goes back to, since we're in the central part of the state, we're pretty far away from the big farms. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't, transporting whole hog to the middle of the state, especially back in the first part of the last century, was damn near impossible. So they would just take the shoulders, and the shoulders would come over here, and we would cook the shoulders. Now the shoulders provide enough fat that when we cook it 8 or 9 hours, it's not going to dry out on us like the ham would.
Right.
So the shoulders turn out real well, and we could bring more shoulders our direction and cook more barbecue as opposed to trying to bring the whole hog here.
Yeah. It makes sense. Has anybody ever tried to rebel and go against the system, or go against the Lexington style and try to do whole hog out here?
We've done pig pickings for people, but I've never seen a restaurant try to do it as a daily feature. No.
I love that. They're steadfast into their shoulders.
Yeah, and they're not as easy to come by anymore either, especially locally.
Right. Meaning whole hogs are
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just so much easier. It's hard with the amount of barbecue we go through. It'd be hard to stack whole hogs in our walk-in coolers.
Yeah, just simply
Yeah.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
just the logistics of it.
And we're certainly not in the slaughtering business to have a pen out behind us.
Yeah.
Pig pickings are more of a hobby around here.
Yeah.
It's like for fun times. It's an
You,
event.
you get a case of beer and see if you can even get close to getting them done without a major fire, and hopefully you don't make everyone else sick while you cook. But
Yeah. Now, you two are second generation, right? For your
Yes.
father started this business.
Yes.
And then,
he didn't start it. He bought it from his brother-in-law in the late '60s when his brother-in-law passed away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, as we're kind of building this whole thing, this is where you grew up, I would assume. Like,
Yes.
you guys, this has been part of like your second home.
There are stories
so
of
to
me in a
speak.
stroller
Very
everywhere.
much. We lived in this place when
Yeah.
we were kids.
Yeah, I remember when you were walking around here in diapers, stories from everyone.
So, predetermined that this is what you were going to do?
No.
No, I have a master's degree in exercise physiology and an undergraduate in sports medicine.
And I have a
Oh, wow.
BS in zoology for pre-med.
Wow.
Well, naturally, you would become pitmasters after that type of education.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
So okay, so what then was the driving force of why you are here as opposed to exploring what you're educated for?
I knew at some point I was coming back, but actually I get more time with my family now than I did when I was working in sports medicine. I was
really?
doing 7 days a week, 80, 90 hours a week.
Yeah.
So to have a family and in that environment was a lot tougher, and going to be a lot tougher as they grew up. So I actually got to see my kids grow up and get to participate in all their activities, and now they're both in college.
And that's because this business is yours.
I have some flexibility that I wouldn't
Right.
have had otherwise.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a.
Not a lot, but some.
It's a very different story than a lot of other restaurateurs are telling these days, but also the ones that are progressing more, you're hearing that more. Like, actually, no, the restaurant business is becoming more of a family accepting environment because
Right.
we all have families and we don't want the old story about not being able to see our kids.
Right, and what sometimes you can't make up for with possibly pay, you can give them flexibility in hours and time off, and that's how you keep your longer term employees.
That my wife just said it the other day when we were talking about schedule. I'm in the process of building a small food hall, and she's like, "Yeah, I guess around fall when I become a restaurant widow, we're gonna have to figure out the plan for the kids." And I was like, "No, we're not. We're going to do this the way we're supposed to do this, where I have a normal quality of life, and we bring people in to help support the business." And case in point here, you have a nice big team, which is nice. It seems like everybody's working in coordination. Didn't seem like there was a lot of bumping into each other at all, and food came out timely. Service was really on point. That's a nice, factor. Now, where did you figure that out? Is this brought down from Dad, or
That, and we've been together. A lot of these people have been together a long time, so we know how to hit the points at the right spot so you don't run into each other. You see, we're kind of tight for space.
Sure.
I mean, we've expanded this building 4 times since 1967 or 61 when it was actually built. So we just learn. You learn, and we stay busy. So we're not surprised when we're busy.
Yeah.
So we understand how to handle crowds and rushes, and we move on through.
I actually want to stay on this for a second because it was interesting to me that when we sat down, immediately we were asked for what we wanted to drink. It was like you couldn't ask for it any better. But then even before we got our drinks, 3 other servers, I think, came to ask, "Oh, have you guys been handled? Have you been taken care of?" So how do you guys work that? Is that a pooled house for your servers?
My mother has preached that for 50, 60 years.
Okay.
And you just can't let that up. That's your hallmark. That's your
Yeah.
calling card. That's your front door. Is your service, and then and certainly the food follows right behind it. And that's the first thing that's mentioned. We're Google reviewed, God knows how many times a day, a week, and they talk about service and food are the first two things about the only 2 things they ever talk about.
Right.
Well, with our ice cream business, and if the girls are in ice cream, they get away from their tables.
So everyone
So if they're
knows.
on sections, then their sections are neglected while they're making ice cream. So we have to do the pool type service.
Yeah, I find that to be what's useful now. I mean,
Yes.
rather than just you're on an island and you're either doing fine or you're struggling, but either way you're on your own. That seems like a bad way. Like you're set up to fail doing it that way.
I eat out a lot, and the thing I hate hearing the most is, "You're not my table. Let me go find somebody to help you."
Right? Why is it my problem that you guys don't know how
Your
to
water
manage your
pitcher's
stuff?
3 feet away from you. Just grab it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you and I are kindred spirits. Like
Okay.
my wife always looks at me too. She's like, "Oh, going out with you sometimes is a lot because I'm just critiquing service the whole time I'm there."
I'm patient I am pretty patient when I go because I understand there's more than what I see going on, but I do like to have my cup full of water or
Yeah.
alcohol, beer, whatever
beer,
they're
perhaps.
serving. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also hard when customers think they have their designated waitress, but you don't. So they're trained when they come in here to think that they have a waitress. No, all of them are your waitress.
Yeah, it's everybody's in it to win it, as they
Yeah.
say. I'm glad you brought up the ice cream because actually that's how this place started.
Sure.
As a dairy,
Right.
a dairy
Kind of
bar,
an
you
outlet
call
for the
it?
dairy. Yes.
An outlet for the
Yeah.
dairy.
So the dairy used to be across the street from our original location.
Okay.
2 blocks up the road.
Oh, okay.
And we served their ice cream for them.
Okay.
In the winter, back when it used to be cold during the winter, ice cream wasn't selling, so they were put shoulders out on a pit behind the building and started barbecue. In 1961, when they built this building, they built the indoor pits and changed the name of the restaurant.
And people just came by and they're like, the ice cream is good, but can I get more of that
Yeah,
shoulder?
I smell something here.
Yeah.
That doesn't smell like ice cream.
But let's get into this. I mean, we're not talking about just a scoop of ice cream.
No.
Y'all are doing something a little different. I think from what I understand, it's a banana split that...
It weighs about 3.5 or 4 pounds.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Well,
last time I weighed it was 3.5. It's gone up since, and now it's been 12, 13 years ago.
And it depends on which server's probably making it, because maybe
Yes.
somebody has a heavy
How hard
hand
the ice
over
cream
the-
is, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
the funny thing for us is, I mean, our lunch didn't take very long. For one, we were served fairly quick, and Matt and I can put down food like that. So, our dining room experience was probably 20 minutes of all, and we saw 2 of those go out in that amount of time. You think like, oh, that's a novelty, but no one's going to order a 4-pound banana split. It's like, oh no, it gets ordered, and it seems like it gets ordered pretty often.
Sure.
We saw the kids right next to us just tear it down. I saw them in the parking lot right now. I said, "Did you finish it?" The one boy goes, "There's a couple bites left." we got it.
We have people eating by themselves, even older adults, 75, 80 years old, eating by themselves.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
So-
it's pretty fun to watch.
So, what's the build? Tell me what is required to build this.
A banana
split.
in the bottom, 3 scoops of our ice cream, and we don't hold you to the chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, which is the basic. Put whatever our 11 flavors we have, put it on there. Then chocolate syrup, and the wet walnuts are the other key to it. And then whipped cream and cherry.
And the
Yeah.
whipped cream is like absurdly large, like the amount of whipped cream
Yeah.
that's being put
It's
on.
about a foot of whipped cream.
We have a picture. We'll put it on our Instagram.
yeah.
It's insane. It's a wild thing.
But it's fun. It's fun to watch people eat it. But it's kind of been our signature.
I was going to say, so that's what we were talking about. Coming to Lexington, it seems like the style of barbecue is traditional. The shoulders, one thing, the chop, the coarse chop and the slice. But you do have to separate yourselves in some way to become identifiable. So that clearly is something that is an edge to you.
Sure.
Not to also mention that since 2008, you were telling me that now you're doing chicken.
Yeah, chicken and ice cream kind of separate us from the different other restaurants in town.
Yeah.
There's
We
not
had-
certainly back in 08 there were more barbecue restaurants than there are now, but it's still good to have a separate niche from everyone else.
Yeah. So what about the chicken? What was the mindset behind that? Why'd you guys do it?
We'd always done it for caterings when people especially order them. This is great. Why aren't you serving it? This is great. Why aren't you serving it? And then one day we just said, well, why don't we serve it?
And a lot of people don't eat pork.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a growing number of people that, for whatever their reasons, didn't eat pork, and it gave them another way to experience our pits without eating pork.
Yeah, because the style of cooking it is similar. You said it was.
It's the exact same way.
You do it the same way?
Same way, same dip, same everything. We put a little bit of our barbecue rub on it. That's the only difference you'll see. That other than our shoulders, we cook with just a little bit of salt. At the end, with our chicken, we put a little bit of barbecue rub on it. It's got some mix of peppers and salt.
As like a rub.
A dry
before
rub,
Yeah,
yeah.
dry rub.
This episode is sponsored in part by Blue Shark Vodka. All the taste without the bite. Blue Shark Vodka, coming out of Wilmington, North Carolina.
That Blue Shark Vodka.
Boom.
We're proud to have them as our new title sponsor, and they're made with non-GMO, heirloom variety North Carolina sweet corn, distilled 4 times into perfection. They do triple filtration, which makes the vodka extremely smooth, clean finish, and it makes that alcohol bite nearly vanish.
Yep, they're Blue Shark Vodka, the shark that doesn't bite.
Check out Blue Shark Vodka at bluesharkvodka.com.
We talk to all types of entrepreneurs, restaurateurs on this podcast, and some of them are making innovative new tacos or salsas, and they're perfecting the classic brisket, but they are all working to turn that love of food into a business, and that's often the bigger challenge. Our newest sponsor is here to help. Spot On works with popular local restaurants like the Ruddy Duck Tavern and the Village Market in Eastern North Carolina, getting them set up with new technology they need to stay competitive in this industry. It's the kind of tech that the chain down the street is already using, but made specifically for you, such as a cloud-based point-of-sale system that not only takes orders and payments, but also ties in online ordering to takeout and delivery. Then it breaks down all the data so you can tweak your menu or set your staff schedule. From fine dining to food trucks, Spot On's integrated restaurant management system can help make running a restaurant less stressful and more successful. And you can get this end-to-end solution built specifically for your needs by a real person, Tanya Maniwo. She's a local Spot On account executive, and she'll be your partner the whole step of the way. Give her a call, 858-213-7820. That's Tanya M. at spoton.com.
And Joe Van Gogh Coffee, serving the community from seed to cup, taking particular care at every step to honor the bean.
This is Joe Van Gogh's Organic Mexican Grapos Reserve, which is really delicious. The Grapos Co-op was created in 2007 and made a tremendous impact for the small traditional farmers by creating avenues and resources to get their harvest not only in the market but certified, which allowed them to be competitive in the marketplace, in international marketplaces. And it has gone from the initial producers of 90 to well over 2,700 members. What we're going to drink here has flavor notes of graham cracker, apricot, and tamarind, which sounds so awesome. Kind of high altitude coffee coming in around 1,600 to 1,800 feet above sea level. The varieties, cultivars, are bourbon, typica, and maracea.
This is luxurious living.
So go to joevangoghcoffee.com. Check out their locations. They have them in Hillsborough, Durham, Raleigh, in the neighboring areas as well. You can find out more information about them at joevangough.com.
And you were saying, so you had done some remod, if you will, but the smokers have been adjusted a little bit over the last few years.
Yeah, we our firebox was falling apart, and in 2013 we were like, we might have a problem here.
Yeah.
Actually, we had a hole between the pit and the firebox, and fire was going through, which is not conducive to very good cooking. That's conducive to burning.
I think we had a hole on the outside, didn't we?
And probably a hole. We had a hole everywhere. And so we said, all right, enough's enough. It's time. We've put it off as long as we can.
We patched it too several times.
So we tore it down. We tore it down. And we're like, it's kind of silly. We're busy. We're a lot busier now. This kitchen was built to serve 20 cars and 7 booths. Mm-hmm. And we've grown everything but the kitchen. So it was we had a lot of failure. So once we moved back, we just built a bigger facility. We tore the pits down and found charred rafters. I don't know how many bullets we dodged over the years of not burning the building down. Somebody was watching out for us, and so we did that. And once we've done that, our business has really exploded since then.
Since putting in the new pit.
Yeah. So we could service people faster, better.
Yeah.
The quality of the barbecue is even better.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about when we were talking about chicken. Did you see an immediate increase in revenue when you started putting chicken on? You did.
Sure.
Yeah, because like new people would come in, plus maybe they get the barbecue and the chicken.
Yeah, and that's a higher value
So
item.
do that.
It's a higher value thing on your menu too. So
Yeah.
So there you go.
the chicken is one of my favorite things that we have.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Seriously.
So let me ask you, as brothers running this business, is there a division of labor here? Is one of you, Michael or Cecil, like more specific to running a certain aspect of the business as the other?
Oh, he does the ordering. I do the book work, and then we just split the daily stuff.
Operational
He does
stuff.
more of the hiring.
Yeah.
Mom does the waitresses, and then we just pitch in and do what we can do.
Nice. But
We kind of
sounds
split
like
like one of us is here during the day, and one of us is at night.
okay. Yeah.
And then last year we kind of started doing every other weekends.
Yeah. So
After
you
we
could have some time
bre-
off.
After we stopped serving breakfast, and made it a whole lot easier to do every other weekends because it's not a 17-hour day.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you were open for breakfast
We
before
were,
too.
yeah, right up to COVID started. COVID wasn't conducive to breakfast for us because we don't have a drive-through window. So
Gotcha,
that's
yeah.
kind of the first change we made, and the only real lasting change we made with COVID was we ended breakfast.
What would you serve for breakfast?
A full country breakfast.
Okay.
Great.
It was very popular.
Bacon, eggs, sausage, gravy, your whole everything.
Gotcha.
Fried tenderloin.
We still
That must
catch
have
it
been
for
sad
not-
when it went away. I
we
imagine
still
the
hear
community.
It's a great meal. It's a long day,
Yeah.
and now staffing issues. We'd never been able to staff it.
Right.
Well, we're sitting in a room. This is an additional room that you had is kind of used as like a banquet room, if you will. Or?
Yeah, we signed the papers on the note for the loan to do this the 2 days before Governor Cooper shut the restaurants down.
Oh, that sounds nice. It's fun.
So it's that new.
But we're in this back area, which is nice,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like kind of fresh and clean. But it also has a window to the backside where, I mean, I've just been witnessing this just in this short time that we've been speaking. You have like a drive-up area, and I've seen your servers out there. There's a constant flow of cars coming
Sure.
up here and being served. You're already busy on the inside too, and it seems like you just have a completely separate dining room out here just on
Right.
your patio that's just flowing.
I read one of my favorite reviews on Google this week from here. It said the barbecue is great, and I didn't have to get my fat ass out of the car. That is
on a t-shirt.
that is on our Google page. This is on my Google review this week.
So yeah, you knew how to do it, and so much so that you guys aren't just a very successful restaurant, but you're kind of a little bit cutting edge on the restaurant business in this state. There was a very influential man, aforementioned Governor Cooper, that had lunch here about 2 to 3 weeks ago, something like that.
Yes.
And you also sit on you're the director of the board for the Tourism Bureau.
I am.
Yep,
My
technically
secretary.
Robin's boss. So
I
if
am,
we have a
yeah.
complaint about her, we're going to come to
Absolutely.
you. Yeah.
I'll put you in the file.
The big,
Yeah.
big file. No, but how did you become a quote-unquote confidant of the governor?
Well, it came out of nowhere. Obviously, there was funds being given out through the year. They're called the Muir funds, obviously from the government aid given to the states to pass on to local businesses, and it trickled down eventually to us. Mm-hmm. And we were fortunate enough to receive different grants. One from, obviously, we got a grant from local, state, and federal. And somehow our name came up. I think it came through our bank, actually. How did you use the funds, and how did you keep going? And I think I don't like reaching around patting ourselves on the back very often. We were able to take the funds, keep our people employed, not lay anybody off, just keep things going. And they were interested to hear our story and how that all happened, and of course he wanted to know how his money was being spent.
Right.
Like when Dad gives you the money, what did you do with it?
I bought a 4-pound banana split.
Yes. So it was really good, and we got to speak on some things besides barbecue and the Muir funds, and we got to speak about tourism and unemployment in North Carolina. So he was very open, very good to talk to. It was not a political discussion whatsoever, which made it really nice.
Yeah. You should pat yourself on the back, because it's not many people that are getting called by the governor and be like, how is this going for you?
Yeah.
Can you give me some advice on how you did it?
I was thoroughly vetted to make sure I didn't embarrass him, but we had a lot of good conversations leading up to it. We had a 30-minute Zoom meeting, he and I, one-on-one, and it was a lot. I got to speak a lot, a conversation a lot of people just don't get to have.
Right.
And so when you keep it neutral, keep it positive, you can have good dialogue and keep progressing.
Totally.
And it was just a great to be able to talk to him and kind of air what we're seeing on the ground level.
Yeah.
And he sees what his reports tell him, but he doesn't get to see what's really happening.
See, I love that, because I don't know, I'll stand on my soapbox for a second, but it's to step back from the politics and to see whose part, it's not about whose party is winning in the polls or the elections. It's about how are we solving problems.
Right. And that money helped. It certainly, like I say, our employees stayed with us. We're not retraining. We've had to hire some new ones, but we're not retraining a whole new staff of 30 or 40 people.
Right.
And so when the business flooded as soon as the restaurants reopened, and we were reasonably ready for it. We weren't trying to scramble to teach people how to write an order ticket.
Right.
And certainly not how to cook barbecue. I can't throw the video on and hand them a uniform and say, here, this is what we do.
Right. Know when to take the pigs off and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, and it's shown, obviously North Carolina in general, barbecue is such an amazing and impactful food product for the industry. But we also said, too, that barbecue's kind of been the savior through the whole pandemic. It was like the first thing you think of when you think of North Carolina, but it was the one thing that remained when the bars were shut down, the fancier restaurants, certain things couldn't be around. It's like barbecue was ready for this. It's a takeoutable product. It just seemed so easy and economically, achievable for people that are out of work.
And family restaurants are designed. We got to figure out how to make it work. We can't. call their shareholders for more money. Or do a cash call. I mean, we had to figure it out. And certainly, at the beginning of all this, we didn't know all these grants were coming down the road either. So we're scrambling, going, how are we going to make this work? What are we going to do differently? And how are we going to make sure our employees, feed their families? And how are we going to feed our family? And so, when you're fighting for your not going to say fighting for your life, but fighting to make sure your business, your livelihood, you want to. You work harder at it. You just can't say, hey, we'll be back in 6 months when everything feels better or it looks better. And so, and we were very lucky. Our local customers flooded us to support us. I mean, it was great. And then slowly as things kind of reopened, the out of town traffic came back, and then now we're running pretty strong again.
Yeah.
And we only had 1 month last year, I think, when it was running rough, and that was April, when there was just so much uncertainty.
Yeah.
But after that, warm weather, and we got very lucky, and we were very fortunate.
Well, it's well deserved.
Thank you.
Another reason that makes you guys stars of the industry, let's say, or beacons of this state is you were the founders of the barbecue festival that happens in October. So how did that come about? And
Two people in town, Joe Sink and Kay Saint Singh, got together and decided we needed to honor Lexington in an unusual way. And then they got together with the barbecue owners, my dad being one of them. At the time, I think that's at the time probably where we had peak number of restaurants in the early 80s. And about 7 or 8 of them came together and decided to put on a festival. In the first year, they drew about 10,000 people. And by year 10, they were doing 75,000 people. And by year 25, we had over 150,000 people in town.
on one day?
One day, single day,
Holy
largest
cow.
single day food festival in the Southeast.
Holy cow, 150,000 people.
I think the biggest one was, 40? No, 30, when Darius Rucker was
Are you
here.
talking about the year?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was either Darius Rucker or Montgomery Gentry, 25 or 30.
You're 30, Darius Rucker.
Yeah, there's pictures you wouldn't believe. I mean, it looked as
Where did all the people
Times Square on New Year's
go?
Eve.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. You looked at.
Yeah.
After that, we had to actually make some changes for safety.
I can imagine.
But you have free entertainment like Montgomery Gentry, Trisha Yearwood, Darius Rucker, free.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
Just came out here just to do it.
Yeah, well, their TQ, our sponsors had people. They came. At the time, Trisha Yearwood was working on a new album, Need to Hear a Music Cloud. Or out in
Out Loud,
public.
yeah.
Yeah, there was a good story about Montgomery Gentry too, so.
Yeah, Richard Childress the one I know is Richard.
Yeah.
They had to be somewhere else that night, but Richard Childress sent his plane, dropped them off here. They performed for 45 minutes and got on the plane and went to their next concert.
That's the way to do it.
That's pretty
That's actually what Max and I are doing next. The plane's gonna come by. We're gonna head back. We're gonna head to the east and try some really different barbecue, and then we'll fly back for the rest of the afternoon.
For the banana split.
Exactly. Yeah.
Taking care of a home is stressful. With so many vendors to find and manage, from plumbers to handymen to house cleaners, it's impossible to get consistently high-quality service. Enter Exhale, the only trusted partner homeowners need to maintain, clean, fix, and improve their homes. You'll have a dedicated home manager with one number to call for everything. And we guarantee our service. If it's not done right, we'll make it right. Visit exhaleathome.com to learn more and book a consultation. We'll take it from here.
Triangle Wine Company, locally owned and operated. Triangle Wine Company is committed to creating the best shopping experience in fine wine and craft beer.
Hi, this is Nikki with Triangle Wine Company. Wanted to let you know we have an upcoming farm-to-table wine dinner at our Cary location on September the 15th from 6:30 to 8:30. Tickets are $65 per person. Get all the details and your tickets at trianglewineco.com.
Yeah, so getting back to barbecue a little bit, like we've delved into this before, but I'd like to hear perspective a little bit more. Obviously, what we know a little bit more in the triangles, we're kind of closer to the East North Carolina barbecue sauce, the vinegar based, if you will, and then there's kind of a misconception that it's like, oh no, it's tomato based out here. So I don't really think this is a tomato base. It's just a blend of ketchup and vinegar kind of put together.
I think with tomato base, you start thinking, did you put tomato paste in it? Did you use crushed tomatoes?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. No, it's
I
a
think more
ketchup
like
vinegar.
St. Louis or Kansas City
Yeah.
feels more that, like
I like
tomato.
to say half ketchup, half vinegar.
Ours doesn't lay on top. Ours is thin, so like with our chopped or like pulled pork, it permeates all the way down. It permeates all the way down through, so it doesn't just lay on the top. So every time you're biting into it, you should be biting into the sauce as well as the meat, instead of just the sauce on top. And by the time you get to the bottom, your sauce is gone, and you're eating meat.
And I'm curious, just in the seasoning factor. You've said it before that you just throw salt on these shoulders, no pepper. And I always feel like that they go hand in hand because the pepper really brings out flavor. So is that because of
the wood does the work?
Oh, the wood is your pepper.
The wood. We like the wood, and we just keep it simple.
Yeah.
The wood does the work. Now it gets more complicated when the advent in the last 15 years or so of these these cook-offs. They're trying to get perfect bark and seasoned bark, burnt ends, and this and that. We drive ourselves crazy trying to figure that out back there on a daily basis.
Sure.
With the amounts we're cooking, but just the salt and the smoke of the wood just does so much for it. Then at the end we'll put our dip on there, and it just makes it for the perfect blend for us.
Yeah, because the dip and the sauce provides that peppery thing that just goes perfectly.
Yeah, and then we sweeten our hush puppies over the years to kind of counteract the the spice of the barbecue and the slaw.
One question, kind of shifting gears a little bit, thinking more about like employment and all. I know that right now in the restaurant industry across the country, but as it stands specific to North Carolina, it's difficult to keep someone on payroll right now, trying to find employees. But it seems like you didn't really shut down too much. So have you been able to kind of weather the storm with employees and have a full team?
Very lucky. We never shut down. And we were able, with the monies we were given from the federal and the state government, we were able to give them actually some extra benefits last year, some paid time off. Because we were busy, but we weren't doing the volume we were doing with inside and outside.
Sure.
So it gave them a chance to take some time and not feel like they were smothered here at work, working under. It was our normal conditions, but you had the cloud over your head of COVID. There's so much uncertainty. So they got a chance to get out of here and get a little break that they normally wouldn't have gotten during a regular year. So they trusted us and stayed with us, and that's all I asked them to do at the beginning, is just trust that we're going to all get through this.
Yeah.
And fortunately, for us, they did. And I don't think any of them are too unhappy right now.
Well, seeing as how busy lunch was, and I'm being told that that's an everyday occurrence around here. Yeah, they're doing well. Question for you in terms of like the global barbecue scene, and like in Max talked about it in the Triangle, we're seeing a lot of people focus on brisket, like the Texas style.
Yeah.
You guys have done chicken. Do you think would you ever do brisket?
No.
Never.
That's sacrilege in Lexington.
Okay.
How dare you, Matt?
But chicken was probably the same way at some point.
Brisket?
Right? I mean, they probably thought chicken was sacrilege at some point too, no?
Well, that was still done as hobby around here, though.
Okay. Nobody does a brisket as hobby around here?
No.
Not really.
Okay.
For people in their backyards.
You get that beef out of here.
But you got to remember, brisket is a solid, to do it correctly from start to finish,
It's a longer
14,
cook.
15 hour
Yeah.
cook. And that's a long time. That's
And then you don't get
another
the
reason we
return
stay away
back on
from
your
ribs
product
too.
either. You don't like chicken is a higher base product, but brisket you probably can't charge as much.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
and it's already more expensive just to
Right.
start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's so popular, it's expensive for no reason.
right. Okay.
It's not the best cut of meat on the cow for sure.
Right. But it's,
But
it's
after what you
become
do
so-
to it, it
yeah.
becomes the most valuable at that point. Like you can charge a high dollar.
Well, think if
amount.
I put 15 hours of labor into cooking a 4 or 5 pound piece of meat, that's a lot. That's a lot of work.
That is a lot of work, to get it where you need it to be.
Yeah.
So the next question, and
Sure.
we talked about revenue, chicken generated revenue. Would you ever consider serving beer, offering beer?
That's a hard call.
Yeah.
Our dad was very anti-alcohol, and it's kind of,
For alcohol for himself consumption, or
he just didn't like it at all.
Period.
Or anyone else, but or for anyone else. But
Yeah.
really, I think we can promote with our ice cream. We're more the family.
Right.
That's our niche. I've seen 1 or 2 other restaurants in town try it, and it didn't really take off. That's not why you come to Lexington for barbecue.
Right.
there's other places to go get. Look, I'm pro.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I'm glad it's not here because I don't need to have a couple and then have my filter off to deal with some publics, some of the general public.
Handle a call from the counter.
Yeah, but it's just we're a family restaurant, and we just got to keep in. That's our focus. You don't want to start running tangents here, so we just focal point.
It may not be for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Certainly not against it, and there have been customers who are known to maybe sit out in their cars with their little cooler.
I was going to say, you do a lot of takeout. I imagine those takeout dishes are met with a lot of beer in the trunk or something.
Hey.
There's some more local officials I know who've had coolers out there during lunch with.
Yeah. They're enhancing their barbecue lunch.
Yes, but they did it out there, and I couldn't see it. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, this
Out of
is
sight, out of mind.
This is fantastic. I'm so blown away just coming out here and just seeing kind of this like subculture of barbecue inside of barbecue that, like, dare we say, how dare us not have been here before to figure this all out. But yeah, this is like you've enlightened us to a whole new world of barbecue inside our state, which is so cool. And you have it running like a top. I mean, it's quick and easy and simple, but delicious.
Thank you.
So
And the nice part about the restaurants that are here, we all, like you guys are at Lexington Barbecue. I'm friends with those guys. And this is all friendly. We're not cutthroat competition.
Yeah.
And as you've seen, there's plenty of business to go around for.
That's what it seems like. The underlining part is
We're all a family.
you're all busy, so it'd be different if you had a lot of empty seats and you're looking for where you're going to get your next sale, but that doesn't seem to be the case here.
No.
So that's good.
That is the amazing thing. I did want to touch on one. Oh, there's Mom. She's walking by. There's
Sweeping.
so she's sweeping. Being the problems with supply chain, pork shoulders are more expensive. The chicken more expensive. Chicken's a lot more expensive these days. The wood's more expensive. Are you guys going to have to rise prices, or at least temporarily?
We did a little bit at the end, but not. It's going to have to again, yes. The short answer, yes. Normally, our menu is based on shoulders being anywhere from 80 cents a pound to maybe $1.19, $1.20. And quite honestly, they've stayed that price for the last 25, 30 years.
Okay, so it was kind of time anyway for a little price hike?
Well, on the humane side, you're trying to wonder where the farmer's getting their money. But now they're up in the $1.65, $1.79 range, and they're not telling you how long that's going to stay there.
Yeah,
and you know, with anything else you buy, once you start getting that price, you don't really ever lower it down.
That's the big fear that I have right now, is that we're just going to be accounted to just paying for this.
Yeah,
and it's
get
like,
used to
well,
it.
well,
It usually
they're-
goes up, hits a level, and comes right back down.
Yeah.
This time it went up, and it really hasn't.
Hasn't come down.
It's come down to hair, but not back to where we were seeing
No.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 months ago, it was 79 cents a pound.
Right now, it's kind of like gas,
Right. Yeah, but gas, like you said, it comes down eventually.
but it's never.
never come down.
It hasn't
Yeah.
come back down.
Yeah.
What have you gotten any pushback from your guests about that?
Oh, we haven't done a big jump yet, but
Okay.
this is the one time they can physically see it in the grocery stores too.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, usually a Walmart or the other local grocery stores can mask their in other ways. I don't think they can do it now either.
Yeah,
And you're seeing the fast food restaurants not be able to do their 99-cent value meals anymore. It's everywhere. That's what we're used to running up. Why is your burger this amount of money when I go to X fast food restaurant and get it for 99 cents?
Right.
Well, you're not comparing apples to apples either. But if you're looking for cheap food, you just go get your cheap food. I'm not going to be able to help you there anyway. But they're not able to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that menu disappear for them too. That's actually going to help us all.
Right, because
eventually.
you have to pay
Yeah.
that for X fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
Might as well go get it from BBQ Center because you know exactly the quality level. Well, this is great.
Yeah,
thank you
this
guys
is
so
awesome.
much for inviting us in.
We appreciate it.
And
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, feeding us and really getting down into what Lexington barbecue is.
Well, go enjoy your banana split.
We will.
Yeah.
Well, for everybody out there, when you're in Lexington, when you're in Uptown Lexington, North Carolina, come to BBQ Center and you will eat extremely merrily.
Thanks for listening to the NC F&B podcast. And if you've stuck with us this long, review us on iTunes, and remember, 5 stars are encouraged. Proof Alcohol Ice Cream. We pour art and science into every bite. An artisan ice cream company from Columbia, South Carolina. Proof is changing the way people think about dessert.